So what we have here is the SmallRig Canon R8 cage. I believe the product number is 4212. Overall, great cage, very well built. A lot of the really handy features that their cages tend to have now, like the Arca Swiss plate built into the bottom, the tool for obviously removing your tripod screws and the like, and a lot of great mounting. You've got NATO built in here as well, and it very nicely mounts into the lugs for the neck strap and fits onto the bottom as well, so it's very secure. You also got a cold shoe adapter on here, a few more 1/4 inches and a bunch here. This doesn't come on it by default. I've added these NATO rails onto it because I like to use the SmallRig handle, and I've also added this SmallRig remote on the top as well that allows me to remotely trigger video recording. I can fire up a video about that at some point if anybody is interested. But yeah, that's the kind of main modifications I've made for it. The gripes I have with it are the fact that on most of the ones that they make for Canons, this part here has actually been removed. The problem with it existing is the fact that it can be quite difficult sometimes to get in and open the battery door. I've got good at doing it just because of practice, but sometimes you find yourself sticking and it kind of doesn't really lift properly because you can't fully get your finger into that groove because of the fact that this frame is here. So with practice you can get better at it, but sometimes it is still obstructed, and obviously that makes fast card swaps, and see, I'm having issues with it again, fast card swaps and fast battery swaps a bit of a pain, particularly with a camera like this where the battery life is so pants. You do find yourself needing to go in and swap the battery out quite a lot, so that's something that can really get in your way and something to think about. Another really bizarre choice is the fact that they've included these M4 lug holes at the bottom here in order to mount an HDMI clamp, or you would think so based on any of their other cages, but they don't make one, and I've contacted them and they say they have no intention of making one. So that's a bit annoying, particularly for something like this that uses micro HDMI. You really do want to have some kind of clamp there just to offer some level of protection, because it's a very, very vulnerable connector. But according to them, they have no intention of doing it. I did buy this, which is the one for the R5, but as you can see, in terms of the way it lines up, even if you took it across there, it also uses an M3 screw as well, so it won't actually fit properly into the M4 lug holes. But the problem you've got is it will actually block a lot of the other ports. Now, it might be possible, and there are some HDMI clamps that are orientated that way, so it might be possible to rig something up with that, but I'm going to need to kind of have a look and see what I can do. I might order some other ones at some point and try and see if I can retrofit this to do it, but it's very disappointing from SmallRig that they're not intending to do it, because it's one of the major gripes I have with the cage, all in that part there. Other than that, it's a solidly built cage with a lot of great mounting. I think that's the Tilta Mini NATO I've added there, and I've added the SmallRig one on the top, and obviously I've added a few different things to the R8. I've added a little red button because I had to cinefy it a bit, and it's got the extended viewfinder cup as well. Also, other things to note, clearance and everything is great. You don't have any issues with it bumping the cage or anything like that. They've milled it well and it's designed well. Just those two primary issues. So yeah, in terms of conclusion, having used it for a bit, I am happy with it as a cage. It's solid, it's very comfortable and easy to use. Great mounting, like I said, but those two gripes, I think they're more than gripes, particularly the HDMI clamp and just the fact that this can really be an issue sometimes. Like I said, sometimes I get it first try, and then other times I've really got to hook at it. But these are things to just keep in consideration if you are planning to buy this, because if that's something that's likely to cause you issues, certainly keep it in mind. But yeah, hopefully this has been useful for people that are planning to buy this cage. There are other options from the likes of Tilta and newer. The Tilta cage doesn't have that frame part here from what I can see, so actually you don't have as, you're lightly, I mean, I don't actually own it, so I can't speak, but I would imagine looking at it, you wouldn't have the same issues with access and that you do in this. And it's also got an HDMI clamp as well. I think even the newer one's got an HDMI clamp too, the brand newer, not a newer product. But yeah, worth looking around as well. So if those two things are important to you, perhaps stay away from it. But if you're not so bothered about that, then it is an excellent product, and I'm pretty happy with it, other than those two issues.